Hey Potterheads, and welcome to episode 3 of the SecretKeepers Podcast, covering Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, chapters 11 through 13. Previously on the SecretKeepers. Harry gets some chocolate frogs, and he gets a chocolate frog card, and it's Dumbledore. His card says, considered by many the greatest wizard of modern times, and his work on alchemy with his partner, Nicholas Flamel. Jared, do you have any opinions as to why Snape hates Harry so much?
Yeah, well, Snape's a bad guy. No, I think he's still associated with, what's his name? You know who.
What's his Jared, what's his actual name, though?
I forget.
Do you remember what letter?
Bull something or other. I'll find it here.
It's Voldemort, Jared.
Voldemort. Oh. Gringotts break-in latest. Investigations continue in the break-in at Gringotts on 31 July, widely believed to be the work of dark wizards or witches unknown. She tells Wood that she's found him a seeker, and Harry gets what?
The Nimbus 2000. When they get locked inside with a three-headed dog.
Say it's guarding something, Jared. What do you think it's guarding?
Well, the package is obviously the first conclusion. Nope.
The Sorcerer's Stone. You don't know what that means.
And unless it's in that package, then I'd have to make some new statement.
Like what?
There's a stone in his package.
This is the SecretKeepers. I'm your host, Colin.
Hey, kids. I'm Nicholas Flamel.
What?
Isn't he like 7,000 years old?
Yeah, he is. But he's here today. He's right behind me.
Oh, what's up, Nick?
Just kidding. It's me, Taylor, your editor-in-chief.
And Jared, the star of the show.
There we go. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Pretty good.
You have a good Thanksgiving? We just had Thanksgiving the other day. How are you guys feeling?
I'm still full. Too many sweets.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet-filled Thanksgiving for me as well. But
it was very merry and joyful.
Yeah, it was good. We had my family over last night, and it was a rocking good time. So, all right. Well, I guess we can jump right into it. Jared, hit me with this 30-second summary. Go.
Alrighty. Chapter 11. Harry, I can't even read what I wrote here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Chapter 11. Harry, despite not being able to control his broomstick, is still a beast at Quidditch. In Chapter 12, Christmas occurs, and Harry finds a mirror that shows the deepest desires of the heart. And in Chapter 13, the man that's behind Taylor, also the only known maker of the Secret Stone, the Sorcerer's Stone, we learn more about him.
Very, very astute.
Okay, Nick just told me he's got to go, so see you, Nick.
Oh, bye, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, look at him waddle away. What a cute guy. All right, yeah, so we'll kick it off with Chapter 11, Quidditch. So last we left, Harry, Ron, and Hermione had conquered a mountain troll together and became just the best friends. And then we turn the page, and it's Quidditch season. Harry has his first game against Slytherin, of course, and if they win, they move into second place in the house championship. So it could be... It's considered a big game, I guess you would say. So as much as they try to keep Harry a secret about how good he is, word got out that he was on the team, and of course, there's just a bunch of trash talk going around. But Harry's looking through some books, Quidditch Through the Ages, to see kind of what he's dealing with and what Quidditch is like. And he learns a few things in the book. Harry learned that there were 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul, and that all of them had happened during the World Cup match in 1473. Also found that the most serious Quidditch accidents seemed to happen to seekers, although people rarely died.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to there. There'll be a lot of concussion protocol stuff probably going around if it was going on today.
Definitely.
So Harry's reading the book outside with Ron and Hermione, and they see Snape limping. So Snape comes and takes points from Harry and the book for taking the book outside because they're supposed to be kept inside, which kind of a jerk move. And then they go inside, they're complaining about it, and they go to bed. So that night, Harry's pretty nervous about Quidditch the next day, and he goes to get his book back from Snape. So he goes to the teacher's lounge or the teacher's whatever they call it, and he opens the door and sees Snape showing Filch his bloody leg and heard Snape say,
"Blasted thing. How are you supposed to keep your eyes on all three heads at once?"
And he yells at Harry, tells him to get out, get out. So Harry slams the door and runs back to Ron and Hermione and tells him what happens. He says, "You know what this means? It means he tried to get past that three-headed dog at Halloween. That's where he was going when we saw him, after whatever it's guarding. And I bet my broomstick he'll let that troll in to get a diversion."
Boom! I called that.
Very good, Jared.
Excellent work, Jared.
Man, that feels so good.
Congrats, you predicted a children's novel. What was going to happen?
So then Harry has a restless night because so much is going through his mind. And he wakes up the next morning and he's too nervous to eat, which I think we've all been there. You got a big game on your mind or you got a big event, too nervous to eat. I can relate.
Yeah, me too. Especially me, big athlete over here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Harry then walks down to the locker room and he gets Wood's speech, which is the same every year, and Fred and George Weasley basically quote it for him. And then walks out onto the Quidditch pitch, and the game starts. So Harry's flying over the game, waiting to see the snitch, and he sees it and dives, but gets cut off, and the snitch gets away. And then Harry's floating around again, and his broom starts going haywire and trying to buck him off. And everyone starts freaking out a little bit, and Hagrid says, "That's dark magic right there. No student can do that." I think that's right there, actually, at least. So it turns out there's dark magic going around, and Hermione looks at Snape and sees him jinxing the broom. So Harry is barely hanging on, and Hermione runs over to Snape and accidentally knocks over Quirrell and then lights Snape's robes on fire. And in doing so, she ends the little jinx that he had going on, and Harry's able to climb back onto his broom. Jared, what do you think about that sequence?
Hermione came to Harry's rescue. What do you want me to say about this?
I don't know. I was just wondering what your thoughts were.
Snape's a jerk.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you think he's trying to knock Harry off his broom?
Well, because he wants Slytherin to win. And
he's trying to kill a student?
Yes. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Why? Why would he do that?
Well, he's a part of you know who.
Who's you know
I
who?
don't know.
Come on, say his name.
Voldemort.
Are you getting
Voldemort.
closer?
Well, you said that last time. Voldemort. You can't say that again.
Voldemort.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, boom.
You're
He's
getting
with
it, Jared.
Voldemort. We
All
haven't
right.
seen his name in forever. How am I supposed to remember it?
Anyways, back to the game. Harry remounts his broom and dives and then falls off it. And he looks like he's going to puke. But it turns out he caught the snitch in his mouth, and Gryffindor wins. So how about our first game of Quidditch, huh?
Yeah, catches it in his mouth.
When did he catch it?
I think he was kind of like on accident where he was like chasing after it, and then does it say he did any sweet move to like?
No. All of a sudden, he had it in his mouth.
Yeah.
He worked
just
magic
swallowed
to
it.
get that into his mouth.
Well, so
He got a magic mouth.
he's just that skilled.
Got a magic mouth.
I suppose. Yeah. So after the game, the squad heads to Hagrid's, and Ron explains what happened to Harry. Harry then tells Hagrid about Snape trying to get past the three-headed dog, and Hagrid is surprised. He says, I found something out about him, he told Hagrid. He tried to get past that three-headed dog on Halloween. It bit him. We think he was trying to steal whatever it's guarding. Hagrid dropped the teapot and exclaimed,
How do you know about Fluffy?
Fluffy?
Oh, sorry.
Eh,
I was just thinking about how I totally gave away that the dog's name was Fluffy in the last episode, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, he's mine. Bought him off a creep chappie I met in the pub last year. I lent him to Dumbledore to guard the...
Yes?
Now don't ask me anymore. That's top secret, it is.
But Snape's trying to steal it.
Rubbish!
That's pretty good, Taylor.
Snape's a Hogwarts teacher. He'd do nothing of the sort.
Well, Hermione's not convinced, and she says she knows a jinx when she sees one. You've got to keep eye contact, and Snape wasn't blinking at all. I saw him. And Hagrid comes up to Snape's defense and says,
Now listen to me, all three of you. You're meddling in things that don't concern you. It's dangerous. You forget that dog. And you forget what it's guarding. That's between Professor Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel.
so we have our next clue. Jared, what went through your mind when you read that?
Well, the title of the book.
What? How?
You know what? That's actually because that's later.
Yeah, that's later.
When I read this,
Did you recognize the name?
no, I had no clue who he was.
But you didn't even recognize that you had heard it
No.
before?
No.
So your thoughts at the mystery on this point were pretty much unchanged, other than that they have the next clue?
Yep. Correct.
Okay. So that brings us to the next chapter then. Chapter 12. The Mirror of... What is it, Jared?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. Erised.
Not bad. I think it's actually Erised. But Erised is pretty good. Don't worry, I got more coming for you.
No.
So it's winter, and Christmas is coming. Yeah, there's a ton of snow.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
You think they have
we
those
wish
songs
you
in
a
here?
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You think they have those songs in Wizard World?
No.
Yeah, it's probably like Abba Dabba Kadoo Christmas. Abba Dabba Kadoo Christmas.
Abacabacadoo, what is that?
I don't know. A magical Christmas.
So there's a ton of snow, and Fred and George were punished. We find out that Fred and George were punished for bewitching several snowballs so that they followed Quirrell and bounced off the back of his turban, which is awesome. I think that's great. We find out that Harry is staying at Hogwarts for Christmas, and Ron and his brothers were staying too because his parents were going to visit Charlie in Romania. So I have in my notes here, I wanted Jared to rank the Weasleys at this point from best to worst. From coolest to least cool. We'll say that.
First, he's got to start trying naming some Weasleys.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem right now, trying to think of them. Ron,
Well, he just gave
Charlie.
you three of them.
Ron, Charlie.
Four of them.
What were the other two? The twins.
Fred and George.
Fred and George. They were the ones who just did the snowball stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so Fred, George, Ron, Charlie, Mr. and Mrs.
Percy.
Who? Percy?
Percy the prefect.
Oh, yeah. That's it? Is that 5? 6? There's 6 of them, aren't there?
There's Ginny.
Ginny?
But we don't really know much about her. She's his younger sister. And there's Bill.
Bill. Okay. Well, Ron, because he's Harry's friend, so he's up there. Then Fred and George. I know nothing about Charlie.
He's a dragon tamer.
Oh.
So, pretty cool.
Okay,
You'd say, right?
Charlie. No, he's up top. Fred and George only because of the snowball thing. And Ron, I can't really rank him because he's like a personal friend, you know.
Sure.
And then the other 2 that I don't know, or 3, or however many I'm missing.
Okay. We'll come back to that later because when these characters are more developed, because I'm sure it will change once Jared learns more about them. As of right now, they're all kind of just tied for the same because he doesn't remember anything about any of them.
They haven't done anything of significance. They know the halls. That's all about all I know.
Okay. So then Hagrid gets the last tree to McGonagall and Flitwick, who are decorating. Which, here's a question for you. How come they can't just magic the trees into position and Hagrid has to drag all of them? You know?
It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Seems kind of demeaning to Hagrid. Just like, do all this grunt work for us and we could just wave our wand and it would be done, even though you can't wave your wand because it's broken.
I don't know why they don't do more magic at all. Like, why do they have to do anything at all? Can't you just magically learn, this book, understand everything that's in it? Something. There's got to be some magical to do that. So you don't have to go to school. You could just sit in bed all day. You could, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you could, why would you want to just sit in bed all day if you had magic? That sounds like a terrible idea.
Okay, so why don't you go practice your magic somewhere?
Because practicing isn't fun.
You go to school.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's Hagrid, so I mean, it's not that difficult for him to just move some trees.
Yeah, but still, it's physical, manual labor. I don't know.
But he likes it. He must like it.
Does he?
He's a gamekeeper. That's what his job is.
So he's like an ox who just likes doing that?
He knew what he signed up for. He can't do magic. He's gonna be the gamekeeper. He's just gonna have to do it.
Okay.
And buck up.
What is a gameskeeper?
He keeps the grounds, like a groundskeeper.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Anyways. So the squad then tells Hagrid that they're trying to figure out who Flamel is, and they can't figure out with all the kinds of books that they're looking at. So they ask Hagrid again, but he says he's still not telling. It says, here's just a list of some of the books that they were looking in. It says he was in Great Wizards of the 20th Century, Notable Magical Names of Our Time. He was missing from Important Modern Magical Discoveries, and also he was not in A Study of Recent Developments in Wizardry. That's a point I will bring back later, I guess. So then Harry goes into the restricted section of the library, but he quickly gets kicked out. And he's not allowed in because he doesn't have a note from a teacher. And there's a lot of different dark magics in there. So Jared, any ideas what kind of dark magics there are in this world that we haven't been introduced to yet that could be in that restricted section?
I didn't even think about that.
Well, now you have to.
Dark magic. Somehow taking away magic from other people.
Ooh,
yeah, that's good. Anything else?
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know, stuff like throwing sicknesses at people or breaking their leg.
That's pretty tame. Your first one was good, though.
Yeah.
You got dark mind, Jared.
Throwing sicknesses at people. Very interesting. Okay. So, again, they don't find anything in the library in their search, and Hermione is going to leave for the Christmas holidays to go back home. So, Ron tells her to ask her parents, who we find out are, Jared, reading comprehension test.
What page?
I don't
No,
have.
yeah. What do Hermione's parents do for a living?
Oh, they're dentists.
Yeah.
Boom.
So do you think that they would have any idea who Nicholas Flamel is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
They probably did his teeth 666 times or however many times old he is.
I suppose. You think wizards have a spell for like dental work?
Yeah,
I
see,
wouldn't.
exactly. I don't understand why they don't have a spell for everything. Why do they even need a dentist?
I don't know. How do you think that would work? They just like
Do it on yourself. Abracadabra, teeth clean. Boom, done. Abracadabra, mow the lawn. Boom, done.
what if you
Abracadabra, clean the dishes. Boom, done.
what if you messed up on your teeth though?
But if you accidentally mowed your teeth instead of...
And then you do abracadabra, undo magic.
Control Z.
Yeah, control Z. Yeah.
Control Z.
And why don't they have control F in the library section? Just abracadabra, control F.
Okay, I didn't think about that. Why didn't they just ask the librarian?
Why didn't they just Google search Nicholas
Yeah,
Flamel?
right,
I
exactly.
can Google search like Nicholas Flamel and
Okay,
find
I
stuff.
can answer that one. This was in like what 1996 or something. Was
There
Google
was-
Google wasn't a thing back then, was it?
Nah, probably was getting started.
Yeah, maybe. I also did read a thing once that said like no electrical technology things would work at Hogwarts because of some thing they had on it once. So
Yeah, because they're still using candles and quills and wear
If it ain't
robes and stuff.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the story. It's Christmas time. It's the Christmas holidays, and Ron and Hermione are having a great time. Ron teaches Harry Wizard's Chess, which is just like normal chess, except the pieces fight each other and assist in strategy talks. Jared, what do you think about that?
That would be awesome.
Say that again. I don't think we heard you.
I said
I
that would
heard
be
it.
awesome.
Say it again. Taylor interrupted you.
No.
That would be great.
Taylor, you suck. Taylor, you are literally the worst at that. Okay, so Harry wakes up Christmas morning and he's got presents. He can't believe it. So he gets a flute from Hagrid, a 50-cent piece from the Dursleys, a sweater and fudge from Mrs. Weasley, chocolate frogs from Hermione, and an invisibility cloak from, well, we don't really know who. We don't know. But we know that it was his father's at one point. He gets a note with it that says, "Your father left this in my possession before he died. It's time it was returned to you. Use it well." What do you think about that? The whole use it well thing, or it was your father's before he died. Who do you think this is from, or why would they tell him to use it well?
Well, I think the person knows that Harry's destined for greatness. I was trying to figure out who this would be. I don't think it's somebody at Hogwarts.
How come?
I don't know. Nobody has seemed like really close to Harry. Everybody knows Harry's parents, but nobody seems really close to Harry's parents.
Okay.
So maybe it could be someone we haven't met yet.
Yes, that'd
Okay.
be my initial thought.
Why do you think they told him to use it well?
Because they know he's destined for greatness, and that they know that he's going to destroy Snape and the dark magic and whatever else that's going to happen.
Okay. That's a good prediction.
Ron had a funny goof when Harry noticed all the presents. You remember that?
No, I
Gotta
don't.
find it. So Harry wakes up. Ron says Merry Christmas, and Harry says, "You too." Well, you look at this. I've got some presents. And Ron says, "What did you expect? Turnips?" I thought that was funny.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Come on, it's hilarious.
I find it more funny that you think that's funny.
How is that not funny?
I don't know. It doesn't scream comedy to me. It's just what
Oh,
it
it
is.
didn't mean.
Well, it's good.
Taylor's rolling over laughing. Turnips.
Turnips.
Taylor, get turnips for Christmas. Ha!
We'll get you turnips for Christmas. That'll be your present from us.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll tell your wife. So it turns out all the Weasleys get sweaters from their mom, and they all have their own letter stitched on the front of them. So yeah, pretty cool. They head down for the Christmas feast, which sounds awesome. So much food everywhere.
Food doesn't sound good right now.
It would taste good if you're at Hogwarts.
They had turkey for Christmas, though.
Yeah, that's nasty. Anyway, McGonagall is totally trashed.
What?
Yeah, it says McGonagall is just, her hat's lopsided. She's just
So that
gone.
means she's. So she's just. I guess. I also had a question here. They said wizard crackers and stacks of wizard crackers every few feet along the table. These fantastic party favors were nothing like the feeble muggle ones the Dursleys usually brought, with their little plastic toys and their flimsy paper hats inside. Harry pulled a wizard cracker with Fred, and it didn't just bang. It went off with a blast like a cannon, yada yada, and they got all kinds of sweet stuff out of it. What is a wizard cracker?
Like a firecracker.
Firecrackers don't have little plastic toys inside them.
Well, the magic ones do.
The firecracker and a fortune cookie mixed.
Instead of a worthless fortune, it's toys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I didn't know what a non-wizard cracker was, but...
What, did you think it was like a soda cracker or something?
A what?
Or like a Triscuit?
Did you say a soda cracker?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I don't know what you're so confused about.
Okay, I did think it was like a regular cracker, but anyways.
Okay.
So the feast goes on. Hagrid has a little bit too much wine, and apparently McGonagall did too. And he kisses McGonagall on the cheek, and then she blushes and giggles. What do you think about that, Jared?
And her top hat was lopsided.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Jared?
They're in love.
That's why he was doing all that manual labor, is to show off his muscles for her.
Mm-hmm.
So we're shipping. How would you say that? Haganagal? No. McGonagrid. McGonagrid. We'll go with that. I'm on board. Anyways. So yeah, the Harry and the Weasleys then go outside and have a furious snowball fight. They play some more wizard's chess, and they watch Percy chase around the twins because they stole his prefect badge. Then Harry goes to bed, and that's when he remembers that he got an invisibility cloak. So Harry tries it on again and realizes he could go anywhere in Hogwarts unseen. So he decides to go to the restricted section. Where would you go?
There's nowhere to go in Hogwarts.
What?
I mean, I would have went to the three-headed dog.
I wouldn't. I'd stay far away from that place.
What would
Dog
you do when
can't
you
see.
got there? What would you do when you got? They can smell,
So if you can't see anything, what are you gonna do?
I suppose. But what would you do when you got there?
Go under the dog and
Take a
figure out what it was
picture?
guarding?
I suppose. I guess that could work.
Where else are you gonna go in Hogwarts?
He's also 11 years old, so just saying.
Where else are you going to go? You're going to go to the restricted section and figure out all kinds of dark magic and become a dark wizard.
Oh.
Turn to the dark side. Jared doesn't get that.
Not yet. We'll get there. We'll get there with the Star Wars stuff, Jared. All right, anyways. He walks down to the restricted section, and he grabs a book, but it starts shrieking, which is just terrifying. So he runs, and he knocks over the lamp that he had with him. So we hear Filch tell Snape, "You asked me to come directly to you, Professor, if anyone was wandering around at night, and somebody's been in the library. Restricted section." So Snape has Flitwick keeping watch for people sneaking around at night. What do you think about that?
You said Flitwick, but I think you meant Filch.
Oh yeah, he has Filch sneaking around or checking for people sneaking around at night. Any thoughts on that, Jared?
Snape's still trouble
What do you think he's looking for?
for people that are going to the restricted section.
Is that a question?
Yeah, you're asking me why he's looking for people that are going into the restricted section.
No, for people that are sneaking around at night. Why would you have someone watching?
Because he knows Harry is after him.
Okay.
And so the only person that's sneaking around is going to be Harry. Or the two twins who are also from Gryffindor, so you can take points from them. But I think it's more that he knows that Harry's against him. He's going to find Harry and he's going to figure out how to get rid of Harry.
Okay. Harry manages to sneak into a room to the side when they were walking down the hall towards him under the invisibility cloak. And he sees a mirror, which, as we learn, is the Mirror of Erised. And it has an inscription on it. Jared, would you like to read what the inscription is? Bottom of page 207.
Cool. What kind of language is this? Erised stra erhru oit ube kafru oit on wasi.
Hey, that was good.
That was really good.
Nailed it.
Okay, Taylor, you were going to bring out a point earlier about the Mirror of Erised. I think now would be a good time to...
Okay. Yeah. Let's start at the end of the word, Jared. What's that letter?
For Erised.
E.
Okay. And what's the next one?
E.
And then the next one.
Desire?
Oh, hey!
So it's the Mirror of Desire.
Isho? No. Toya?
No.
Earthka?
You're getting there.
Toya? Eri Ash Desire.
That's not what I was getting at all, but that was great.
Well, that's where I was going to go next, is what does that then say?
That's a good point, but I'm pretty sure it says nothing.
It does say something.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, yes, it does. If you unscramble, if you read it backwards.
I show not you your face, but your heart's desire. Wow.
Whoa,
I didn't know that.
no way.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So, anyways, he looks into the mirror and he freaks out immediately because he sees like 10 people behind him, which, yeah, naturally I would freak out as well. But he reaches back behind him and he turns around and they aren't there. Turns out that they are his parents and his family in the mirror. He's seeing them in the mirror because that's his desire. So he sits there for a while and decides that he has to leave, but tells them that he'll be back. So did you have any thoughts at this point on this mirror, Jared?
Well, I didn't know that it showed his heart's desire at this point. So I actually honestly thought that he was seeing his family somehow.
Oh, okay.
And maybe it still could be.
So Harry tells Ron about it the next day, and he agrees to take him back that night. So as they're looking around at night trying to find the room, he's getting cold, and he just wants to go back. But Harry is driven to find this mirror again because he wants to see what his heart's desire is. And he finally makes it, and Harry runs up to the mirror, but Ron can't see anything except for Harry. So Harry steps aside so Ron can see, and Ron sees something completely different. He sees himself as head boy, Quidditch captain, and holding the house and Quidditch cup. So Ron thinks for a second that it shows the future, but then
Harry's just heartbroken.
Right, because how could it? Because his parents are dead. Then they have a little bit of a fight over who gets to look, and then they hear something, so they quick get under the invisibility cloak, and Mrs. Norris walks in. So here's a question I had. Do you think the cloak works on cats?
I don't think so, but they can smell, so.
Here's the question I had. How big is this cloak?
Must be
Big
pretty
enough
big.
that 2 11-year-old boys could fit underneath it?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want, like a 8 by 11 foot? I don't know. I don't know how big. Jared, how big of would you need for you to fit underneath it?
I don't know. Size M.
Size M. If anybody wants to send Jared merch, he's size M.
Trending towards size L, especially after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Anyway, so the next day, Harry wants to go back again, but Ron tries to stop him and tries to talk him out of it. But Harry goes back for the third night, and this time is interrupted by somebody when he walks in. And that is
Dumbledore.
Albus Dumbledore. Turns out that Dumbledore knows what Harry and Ron saw, and also that he doesn't need a cloak to become invisible. So do you think that he was in there the night before with them?
Yeah,
Because he knows what they saw?
absolutely.
No.
What?
I think he just knows.
Maybe he was Mrs. Norris.
I also don't think that whatever he said about the mirror is true.
What do you mean?
Well, it might show your deepest heart's desire or whatever, but I feel like there's more to this mirror than that. Like, that's one of the stupidest things ever, I feel like.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Why is that stupid?
Well, in relation to this book. So they find a thing that's just their deepest heart's desire. Like, what is that point in relation to our book?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I guess just more world building and seeing them take adventures in the invisibility cloak.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe just showing off what different types of magical objects are out there.
Or maybe it's something else that we don't know yet.
I suppose it could be that.
Maybe Dumbledore gets a notification every time someone sees themselves in the mirror.
He starts recording.
I think he just transformed himself into a cat.
Yeah?
What?
He was Mrs. Norris.
What? No,
Never mind.
he was not.
No, I really think he was just invisible because he was Dumbledore.
Why would he be sitting in that room every night?
Maybe he likes the mirror too.
No.
I did not think of that.
No.
But then he says...
He's got everything he wants, except for socks.
Does he? Summer socks.
So, so Dumbledore explains what the mirror does. Says that it turns out that it shows the deepest desire of our hearts. Then Dumbledore tells Harry that the mirror will be moved, so don't go looking for it. But if he does come across it again, he will know how it works. And then he has the famous quote.
It does not do well to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Right. And then the chapter ends with Harry asking Dumbledore what he sees, and he says,
I see myself holding a pair of thick woolen socks. One can never have enough socks.
Yeah, you aren't looking in the mirror every night. Like, oh, I hold more socks.
Well, he's obviously, maybe he sees something else, Jared.
do you think...
Exactly. He's lying. Someone's lying here.
So then back to Taylor's point, there's a chance that he would be in there because he likes to look at what's in the mirror too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But the mirror is more than... I think the mirror is more than whatever the deepest heart's desire is. Then.
Okay. Maybe it does show the future.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about that? Just a quick quick question about this universe that we're in. Do you think magic can raise people back from the dead?
In extreme circumstances, yes.
What would be an extreme circumstance?
Oh, we need people to fight this battle. Ooh, let's bring up 100 people. Robert E. Lee,
Whoa.
boom. Hey, what do you know?
All right, Jared.
And if you need dark magic, you could bring up some really bad people back from the dead. Like, you know who. Who crashed off a cliff. You just bring them back to life.
Okay. So I guess that could be something that's in the restricted section, maybe.
Sure, it doesn't have to be.
Okay. Chapter 13, Nicholas Flamel. We begin this chapter, and Harry is having nightmares of his parents disappearing in a flash of green light and a high, cackling laugh. Ron thinks that this is the mirror driving him mad. Think that could be?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay.
No, but this mirror is not. This mirror's driving me mad.
So Quidditch starts back up after the holidays, and there is a path for Gryffindor to win the cup if they win their next game. But we also find out that Snape is going to ref the next game, which everyone has a problem with. So why do you think Snape wants to ref this game?
Because he doesn't want Gryffindor to win, and he wants Harry to get hurt.
So you think he's going to actively try to have Harry get hurt while he's reffing?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That would be his plan.
Okay. Well, Ron and Hermione absolutely do not want Harry to play. They keep telling him not to for different reasons. And it's at that point when Neville hops through the portrait with his legs bound together from a leg locker curse from Malfoy. Then the trio urge Neville to stand up for himself, and Harry gives Neville a chocolate frog, and Neville gives the chocolate frog card to Harry, which is Dumbledore's card. And then on the back of the card, it says, what, Jared?
Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the dark wizard Grindelwald in 1945, for the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and his work on alchemy with his partner, Nicholas Flamel.
So when you heard that, did that bring back any flashbacks of hearing that originally, or no?
No.
So Hermione jumps to her feet. She's excited. She runs upstairs and grabs a book and reads this excerpt from it.
Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
So it turns out that Flamel made the Sorcerer's Stone. There's the next page. It says, the ancient study of alchemy is concerned with making the Sorcerer's Stone, a legendary substance with astonishing powers. The stone will transform any metal into pure gold. It also provides the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal. There have been many reports of the Sorcerer's Stone over the centuries, but the only stone currently in existence belongs to Mr. Nicholas Flamel, the noted alchemist and opera lover. Mr. Flamel, who celebrated his 656th birthday last year, enjoys a quiet life in Devon with his wife, Purnell, 658 years old. What are your thoughts on this new breakthrough about this stone, Jared?
First of all, how come it's so hard to make?
I don't know. I don't know if we know or not. Taylor?
I'm not an alchemist, so I have no idea.
It's just hard to make.
Just accept
It seems like one of those things where you ask for the many wishes and you really don't really want it.
Like the Midas touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it
That's
turns everything
basically
to
what
gold.
this is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In context with the book and in the story that we're on, what do you how does this tie in?
Well, if you know who has somehow had contacts with this, he could still be living. Or if Snape has it, he would live forever.
Okay.
Yeah. How big do you think the stone is? Like, is it like a mountain, or is it like fit in your hand? Maybe fit in a bag?
It's the size of a baseball.
Okay.
So it could be the size of a small package.
That would be a large package.
Yeah. Okay.
Jared, let me ask you this. Where do you think the stone is?
Inside the dog?
What? You can't be serious. You need to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try this again. So, Snape wants something, and he wants whatever this dog is guarding.
Yep.
Okay. Hagrid says that whatever the dog is guarding has to do with Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel.
Yep.
So, putting 2 and 2 together, where's the stone?
It's being guarded by the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah! We got there.
I'm so confused right now.
Well, you said it was inside the dog.
Yeah, the dog could still be guarding it inside itself. I don't know. I mean, that would be awesome.
I suppose, but what? Okay, what
Insides
about
might be all gold, but whatever.
what about the whole trap door situation? The
Oh yeah, I
dog
forgot about that. No, it's done.
Okay, so just to clarify, Jared.
This is what happens when you take 2 weeks to read 3 chapters.
Okay, so according to Jared, the stone is where?
Being guarded by the dog under the trapdoor.
Okay. That's all I wanted to get to. All right. So that's kind of where Ron, Harry, and Hermione get to as well. They think that he and Dumbledore put the stone in Gringotts, and then they wanted it moved because they knew someone was after it. So the next morning, Ron and Harry are in Defense Against the Dark Arts, thinking of ways. Time out what?
When are you going to talk about the other books they were looking at?
Oh yeah. Good point. Oh, so back to how old he was. So I just thought this was a mastercraft kind of by J.K. She lists the books that they were reading, and they're all like great wizards of the 20th century, notable magical names of our time, modern magical discoveries, and a study of recent developments in wizardry. Just really cool, I think, how she plays it that way so that, of course, they're not going to find his name in there because he's way older than that, right?
Yeah, and naturally you would, as someone trying to find the maker of something, you'd look for someone who's alive.
Right. So I just thought it was really cool. So, yeah. So let's see, where were we? Oh, yeah, Defense Against the Dark Arts. So Harry's in Defense Against the Dark Arts, thinking of ways they would use the stone. And Harry says he is going to play. Then my notes say, and then Harry says he is going to play Quidditch, even though Snape is reffing. Oh, yeah. Ron and Hermione are all prepped in the stands, ready to perform the leg-locking spell on Snape, should things go badly. Jared, I want you to read what the spell is. Page 222. What's the spell for the leg-locking curse?
Locomotor mortis.
I think that's it. Sounds right. I don't have that in my little book here, or I don't think that's performed in any of the movies. So I think that's right. Yeah. Then it turns out that Dumbledore came to the game too, so they feel much safer. And they say there's no way Snape's going to try something under Dumbledore's nose. So the game starts, and Malfoy and Ron have some words. They get into a little bit of a scuffle, and Harry catches the snitch.
Not just words. Malfoy's being a jerk. He continually disses Harry for having no parents, so he's mocking them for being an orphan. And then he mocks the Weasleys again about having no money, and he mocks Neville about having no brains. And then Neville
just roasting everybody.
He's got to have like 9 points by now. He's a good roaster, but not a very nice one.
No, he's not. He's kind of a jerk. So, anyways, Harry catches the snitch in 5 minutes, which is apparently a record. So everyone's going crazy. Gryffindor won. They're in first place now. And they're walking back to the castle or to the locker rooms, and Harry sees Snape headed into the forest. So naturally, Harry, because he's nosy, just decides to follow him and kind of hovers on his broom. And he sees that Snape met Quirrell in the forest and has some threatening words that he says to him. He says, "Don't know why you wanted to meet here of all places, Severus." And Snape says, "Oh, I thought we'd keep this private. Students aren't supposed to know about the Sorcerer's Stone, after all." And then he asks him, "Have you found out how to get past that beast of Hagrid's yet? You don't want me as your enemy, Quirrell." And then Quirrell says, "I don't know what you..." And then Snape cuts him off and says, "You know perfectly well what I mean." Then it goes on, and Snape says, "Your little bit of hocus pocus, I'm waiting." So it sounds like Snape is kind of, I guess I'll say, badgering Quirrell. But Harry tells the squad when he gets back to the castle, and they kind of come to the conclusion that
Snape is trying to force Quirrell to help him get the stone.
Correct. And it's decided there are more things guarding the stone, and it's only safe as long as Quirrell stands up to Snape. Which they all say, if that's the case, it will be gone by next Tuesday.
Roasted. Just roast them.
And that's the end of the chapter. So what are your thoughts on that, Jared?
I have a couple thoughts. I guess the first one is, I'm pretty sure Hagrid knows that Snape is after the Sorcerer's Stone. So why are they keeping it at Hogwarts where Snape is?
Where else would they put it, though? Because they tried putting it at Gringotts and someone broke in to steal it.
There's got to be some other place.
There's no safer place than Hogwarts.
I guess I see what you're saying, but if nobody thinks that Snape's really after it, then like Hagrid doesn't think Snape's after it.
Yeah, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the only ones.
No, Hagrid definitely knows Snape's after it. That's baloney.
Well, okay, if that's the case, maybe Hagrid...
That's like your mom not telling you something just because she's trying to hide it from you so you don't need to know it yet.
Okay. So who would Hagrid tell, though? How, like...
What do you mean, who would Hagrid tell?
To get it moved again.
Who would Hagrid tell to move the Sorcerer's Stone?
Yeah.
Whoever this friend is of Harry's parents that lent him the cloak.
Okay. But do you think that Hagrid knows that the dog's guarding the stone, so there's nothing to be worried about? That's what he thinks?
No, I think Hagrid's worried.
Okay. So another question I had for you, or did you said you had another question?
I was just going to say that, man, I wish it was inside of the dog now. Quirrell could do some magic and that dog falls over. Boom, there it comes.
So a question I had for you, it says in the like second to last paragraph, it says, I reckon there are other things probably guarding the stone apart from Fluffy. loads of enchantments probably, and Quirrell would have done some anti-dark spells that Snape needs to break through. So do you think that that's a possibility, or do you think it's the dog and that's probably about it?
No, it's definitely a possibility.
What other types of defenses do you think would be up there?
Oh, I have no idea. There's going to be some sort of a troll or minions or something that come out of there first.
Minions?
Yep.
Like from Despicable Me?
Yeah, sure. Little baby fluffies.
Oh,
That would be terrifying.
that would be. Okay. So,
And then it probably, I don't know, there's got to be some sort of code to open it up or it'll move to some another new location or something. I don't think it's a stationary. I don't think someone has to pick it up to move it.
the stone.
Yeah. Haggard probably has an app. We can move it around.
Okay. Yeah, then I guess my last question is, so do you have any thoughts on where the story is going to go from here? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's going to be Harry versus Snape in the Battle of Quidditch.
Quit.
Quidditch, what?
I don't know. Quidditch is everywhere, it seems like.
It is everywhere, yeah.
So, Harry versus Snape, there has to be some sort of battle, and it's not going to be like punching battle. It's going to be some sort of battle of the dark magic versus real magic.
Okay.
Streaming live on ESPN. All over the world.
Okay. So do you think that Snape will find his way past Fluffy at some point?
Yes. But Harry will find him while he's doing it or something.
So you think Harry's going to be the one that stops him?
He's the only one that can stop him.
How come? What do you think? You think like Quirrell would stop him or Hagrid would stop him?
Quirrell would fall over screaming, crying and run away.
What about Hagrid?
What about Dumbledore?
Hagrid can't do anything.
What about Dumbledore?
I don't know where Dumbledore fits into this whole thing. He's hiding something. And we have not been shown whatever Dumbledore actually is.
He likes socks and lemon drops. Seems pretty powerful. We know that he defeated the Dark Wizard Grindelwald.
Yeah,
And
how?
he's friends with Nicholas Flamel, the maker of the stone.
Yeah, and then how come does Dumbledore have these powers?
The powers of the stone?
Yeah.
I guess we don't know yet.
I think, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, one thing's for sure, we know what was in that package. We figured it out.
It's not Hagrid's bird or a wand.
Pretty close.
It's a stone in this package.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Taylor, do you?
No, I do have a good point, though, that Nicholas Flamel,
Okay.
JK did not make him up. He is a real person.
Baloney. There are no
Nope.
666-year-old people.
Well, obviously, but he was a person who allegedly he was an alchemist, and yeah, and the Sorcerer's Stone, called Philosopher's Stone in Britain, is supposedly a real thing, and the elixir of life and turning things to gold and all that is all like well known.
Really?
Lore.
So there's like the lore that he made a stone that could do that?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. So
Whoa.
he didn't make it up.
Like
So
what
Harry
time?
Potter, based on a true story.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Jared, anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, I'm all good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate and review us if you haven't already. may not seem like much, but it really does help us out. So you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Keepers Pod. And if you want to take the next step in supporting the show, check us out at patreon.com/SecretKeepers Pod, where you can become a patron and gain access to all kinds of sweet things. But that's all for now, though. So until next time, we solemnly swear that we'll be up to no good.